it's Serafina. Tonight I will share a story about someone I once knew, someone who burned so brightly that it felt impossible to imagine anything could ever dim his light. But life has a way of humbling even the strongest among us, and this is a story about what it means to fall, to break, and to rise again. Before we begin, I'd like to invite you to subscribe and follow if you haven't already. The goal of these stories is to encourage you to put your phone down, close your eyes, and fully immerse yourself in the narrative. Let's take a deep breath together, settle in, and begin. This story is about my cousin Leo. Leo was the kind of person who commanded attention without even trying. He had a presence about him, strong, fearless, and at times intimidating. He wasn't just confident, he was certain, unshakable, as though nothing could touch him. People admired him for his strength, but those who knew him well also saw the cracks beneath the surface, the weight of expectations that pressed down on him like armor. Growing up, Leo always wanted to be the best. It didn't matter if it was a school race, a debate competition, or something as simple as a board game. He played to win. And more often than not, he did. But that drive, that hunger to be the best, came at a cost. It was his temper that often got the better of him. Leo wasn't the type to back down, even when it might have been wiser to do so. He could be impulsive, quick to anger, and slow to forgive. I remember one particular argument he had with his closest friend, Daniel. They had been inseparable for years, brothers in everything but blood. But one careless remark during a heated conversation changed everything. Daniel had called Leo stubborn, said that his pride was blinding him. It wasn't meant to hurt, but Leo took it as a betrayal. He stormed out that day and didn't speak to Daniel for months. It was painful to watch, especially because I could see how much they missed each other, even if neither one would admit it. And then came the accident. Daniel was in a car crash. I still remember the phone call, the disbelief in Leo's voice as he repeated the words, trying to make sense of them. Daniel was gone, and there were no more chances to fix what had been broken between them. For the first time, I saw Leo's armor crack. He didn't yell or lash out. He just sat there, silent, staring at nothing. The weight of regret was heavier than anything he had ever carried, and for a while, it seemed like it might crush him completely. Leo changed after that. The fire in him dimmed, replaced by something quieter, something heavier. He stopped showing up to family gatherings, avoided his old haunts, and withdrew from the people who cared about him. It was as if losing Daniel had taken a piece of him, leaving behind a hollow shell. But grief is a strange thing. It breaks us, yes, but it can also rebuild us if we let it. One day, Leo showed up at my door. He looked different, tired, older somehow, but there was something else too. Determination. He told me he couldn't keep living the way he had been, that he needed to make things right, even if he couldn't change the past. He started by reaching out to Daniel's family, offering his support in ways that were both practical and deeply personal. He helped them sort through Daniel's belongings, repaired things around the house, and listened when they needed someone to talk to. It wasn't easy. There were moments when the guilt threatened to overwhelm him, but he didn't stop. Leo also began volunteering at a local shelter. At first, he kept it quiet, almost like he was trying to prove something to himself before he let anyone else see it. But as time went on, it became clear that this work was changing him. He started smiling again, not the cocky grin he used to wear, but something softer, more genuine. He told me once that helping others felt like a way to honor Daniel, to make up for all the things he wished he had said and done. And in doing so, he began to find pieces of himself again, the parts that had been lost in the anger, the pride, and the grief. But the most powerful moment came later. Leo decided to speak at a memorial event in Daniel's honor. It was a small gathering, just friends and family, but standing up in front of them wasn't easy for him. I remember the way his hands shook as he took the microphone, the way his voice trembled at first before he steadied himself. He didn't make excuses or try to justify the fight that had come between them. Instead, he spoke about forgiveness, about how he had learned that sometimes the hardest thing isn't asking for it, but offering it to yourself. Leo's story didn't end with a perfect resolution. Grief doesn't work that way. There were still days when the weight of regret would creep in, when he wondered if he could have done more. But he didn't let those moments define him. Instead, he carried Daniel's memory with him, not as a burden, but as a reminder to live fully, to love deeply, and to let go of pride before it cost him something else he couldn't replace. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Thank you for spending this time with me tonight and for listening to Leo's story. It reminds us that we are all capable of change, and that even in the face of loss, we can find ways to grow and heal. May his story bring you peace and inspire you to reflect on the relationships in your own life, the ones that shape us, challenge us, and teach us what it means to be human. Until next time, sweet dreams, lovely friend. Good night, Serafina.